Post about AI Slop back in March. 61,000 people saw it, the second biggest post I put out in 12 months. And the reason it landed is everyone can feel it on here. It's full of AI slop. Our platforms are filling up with writing that came out of a wmachine that was never told it was who it was speaking for. So this week's check-in is all about brand. I know a chunk of you have just switched off, but stay with me. Some of you watching this run a small business. Some of my mates who I help with AI, I know there's only two of you and your biggest asset is one of your vans. A website your nephew built and a Facebook page your nephew promised to update but hasn't touched it since Easter. So brand sounds something like Nike only worries about. But stay with me. 4 out of 10 people who follow me work in a business with 50 people or fewer. So this week's check-in is aimed squarely at you. For me, brand is the answer to 6 questions about who you are, written down in one place. And the reason it matters more this year than it did 2 years ago is that you're about to hand those 6 answers to a machine and ask it to speak for you. So if them 6 answers don't ever exist, it invents them. Fresh every time. Mine came from a document I filled out during my first fortnight. Next month, it's 80 years ago since I joined Claude. The first few weeks in, I sat down with a tool called the Brand Identity Prism. A French marketing professor, John L. Caffery, built it back in 1992. 6 connected facets that define an identity. Back then I knew nothing about branding, but marketing was the seat I took, so I started with my own values. The company came after it. What do I actually believe? And what do I want someone to feel once they've actually dealt with us? Then I sat down and did the same exercise with Scott. And where the two of us overlapped, that became Cloud. Everything from then on ran through it. Every bit of marketing, every proposal, every hire, every time we said no to a client, it wasn't the right fit for us. So if you're struggling, start with your personal brand first, and then the company. That order is the whole thing. So a quick run through. Full explainer I'll link in the proper newsletter. Physique is what people see, the logos, the colours, the look of the thing. Personality is how you speak. Nike talks like a coach, always pushing you to get off that sofa. Culture is what sits underneath it all. The origin story, the principles that decide how you behave and show up on a Monday. Relationship is the connection you build. Are you a friend or are you the fixer? And reflection is who people picture using you. And finally, self-image is about how your customer feels about themselves when they actually do use your products or services. 3 of those face outward and 3 live inside. Get all 6 telling one story and you hold together everywhere. Get them out of sync and people can feel a wobble. So your culture says sustainability, but your packaging says landfill. Customers spot that fast. Here's why I still care about a document I filled in over 8 years ago. Over that period, we've gone from over 600 grand to over 2 million in turnover. And last year, I handed the original Brand Prism to Madison, our new head of marketing. Same document, 8 years old. And in that time, only one word has changed. We had making clients happy with technology. Madison changed it to making clients succeed with technology. One word in 8 years. And that's what codified looks like. And that stability is the thing that we can now point a machine at. Now let's bring AI into the mix. You might know the business model canvas. Strategize is a tool for mapping how a business creates and captures value. We've built a digital lens over the top of it, 5 dimensions from the boardroom down to the back office. That tell you where technology earns its keep and where it doesn't. We put a new course now, Cloud Academy, available now, and we're adding to it every single month. So leadership, strategy and culture, customer growth, your proposition and your experience, and how the work actually gets done. And underneath all of it, value protection. The cyber, the governance floor, everything else stands on. But the biggest risk I'm seeing right now sits in the last one. I call it random acts of AI. A department opens a free account on somebody's personal email and starts feeding company data into it. Nobody's agreed to anything and nobody's watching. Spent over 20 years telling businesses to install technology the right way from a security point of view. The same rule applies for your identity. I've always described AI as a brain in a jar. Brilliant and completely disconnected until you feed it something. Feed it nothing and it hands you back the average of the internet. That's the AI slop, grammatically perfect and belonging to absolutely nobody. But feed it 6 clear answers about who you are and it starts to write like you at volume. Same tool, completely different output. You might not have a marketing department, but practically this is one afternoon's worth of work and you can do it on your own before you involve anybody else. Open a blank document and answer the 6 questions about yourself if you're a business owner or an entrepreneur. Then answer them again about the business. Where you keep contradicting yourself, that's the gap your customers are already feeling. Then take the Brand Prism and paste it into the instructions of whatever AI tool you use. Copilot, ChatGPT, Claude, it doesn't matter. Give it the answers before you give it any task, and then check the output against the page. If it doesn't sound like the document, it don't go out. That was the rule 8 years ago with a human writing it. It's the same rule now. One page read by every person and every machine that speaks for you. Which brings me to the bit I'm most proud of this week. 18 weeks ago, I started writing the Diary of a Chief AI Officer for a bit of fun and an experiment. Every week over on LinkedIn and Substack. Substack now runs an AI detector across your writing before you even hit publish. and came back at 91% human, 9% AI. And I'll be honest with you, it started drifting the other way. I was leaning on the machine more than I ever wanted to. The writing got slicker and smoother, but the numbers on LinkedIn and my reach got far worse. So let's have a look at my own year in reflection. February through to April, my reach was the biggest it's ever been. Over 240 impressions in 3 months, and 2 posts carried nearly all of it. My engagement rate in April was 0.8%, but since I went back to writing this myself in May, reach came down, engagement climbed back to roughly 2.5%. Big numbers, but nobody's home. I've tried delegating my LinkedIn twice, it don't work, and people can tell. I bump into people at events who read my content and they know when it won't me. So to win in an AI world, I think you have to be more human than ever. Then again, when did that ever stop being true? So my challenge for you this week, if you want to grow a business, at some point you have to get in front of a camera or write about something you actually believe in. That's the price of entry now. You might be sat there thinking you've got no audience, but that's the exact reason to start now. It's easiest when nobody's watching. I had no followers when I first started. The hard bit arrives later, when you've got several thousand followers and 6 different experts telling you all what to post. For me, I always knew what to post. I post what I'm passionate about. If you own a business, that should be the industry that you're in. Then talk about the pains that you fix and the jobs that you actually do. And then give away all your best stuff. Because what you put out in the world comes back tenfold. Right, that's me checking out. Go and be vulnerable. Hopefully see you around this week.